Part 5. A few days pass and she does not hear from him. The weeks pass into months and still he makes no attempt to see her. She asks herself, why? Did she not do as he had asked? Did she not grant the favor that he said would make them sweethearts forever? But she never hears from him again. And she is heart sick with the thought of it all. If this young lady is a weakling, she may never get over this affair. If she is strong-minded, she may manage to pull herself together and make a new start in life. If she becomes thoroughly disgusted with herself, she may follow the line of least resistance. She may reach the conclusion that there is no good in life, and because of this wrong thinking, a whole life may be wrecked. Why? Because she thought that it was by doing favors for people that they love and respect you. Like millions of others, she did not know the real truth. She was unaware that only too often this is the way to lose certain good friends. Number 6, the truth is that no man who really loves and respects a girl will ask her to do such a thing. The very fact that he depended upon this act to make him love her shows distinctly that he does not respect her. In the case just mentioned, as in many others, it isn't what you do that counts so much as it is what you are. This young man had no respect for the girl in the first place, and the girl did not have as much respect for herself as she thought she had. People do not like you for what you do for them. They like you for what you are. They respect you, even if you do no favors for them, and they will like you too. But if they have no respect for you, if they cannot look up to you, you can be constantly doing favors for them. It will only result in having them disrespect and disappoint you. Here's the answer to the perplexing problem that faces every man, woman, and child. We must learn to understand the psychology of doing favors for people, or we shall become hardened towards life. If we fail to understand, we become cold toward others. We refuse to do favors for them, and due to the fact that we do not live unto ourselves alone, we find ourselves in such a state that we do not know which way to turn. In this treatise, we shall attempt to explain completely what we mean by the psychology of doing favors for others. And after you have read it over several times, you will know exactly how to conduct yourself when faced with the problems of doing favors for others. 8. If you are a parent, let your children read these pages over. If you have a friend who has become cold towards others because of favors done, and then has had these same people disappoint him, either have him send for a copy or let him read this one. Every young girl should know about the aforementioned incident and the psychology surrounding it. If they did, we should find fewer broken hearts, fewer suicides, less prostitution, and much more happiness among women than is frequently found. Another case is quite common, especially since the newspapers seem to give it so much publicity, is that of the rich old man who marries the young pretty girl. He is close to 60, she is 22. He surrounds her with every luxury possible. Her wardrobe is larger than any girl could possibly dream of having. She is bedecked with the most expensive of jewelry. He is constantly taking her on trips to interesting countries. In short, he gives her anything she could possibly wish for and does anything for her that she wants him to do. And yet, does she respect him? No. Does she look up to him? No. Does she appreciate the luxuries that he has surrounded her with? No. Then, what is it? What is the thing to do with people if they do not respect you for the favors you do for them? The answer is easy to those who understand. 10. In the case just mentioned, with all the luxuries this good old fellow lavished upon her, you would imagine that she would at least show her appreciation. But no, she does not. Unfortunately, dear reader, appreciation is a very rare thing in this world. There should be more of it, but people can never be satisfied any more than nature will ever be satisfied. Nature has primarily only one goal in mind, and that is to grow with nature. Also happens to be our purpose in life. Once we stop growing, we start to go backwards. We do not stand still, although we may think we do. We are either going forward or going backward. And so we find within everyone that unsatiable characteristic of never being satisfied. 11. Very often people have the idea that being satisfied and being counted refers to the same thing. They are not the same, and for your benefit, explain the differences in the following manner. To be content refers to the present. The point is always to be content. To be satisfied refers to the future. Here the idea is never to be satisfied. So people find that whether they are students of psychology or not, no matter how much education they may have, nature's way, which is their way, is never to be satisfied. People must learn to be content always, and yet never completely satisfied. This is easy to do once one understands the difference. But when one does not understand, then it becomes a problem. With the understanding of the difference between the two, it is possible to be thinking of all married things in life that they are lacking. We must remember that we live only 1 minute at a time, and if we try hard to make that minute happy and keep it filled with happy thoughts, then the hours, the days, the months, and the years will be filled with happiness. Of course, we must always seek to better ourselves, but we must not permit our thoughts and longings for material things to mar our present happiness and to make life enjoyable. Number 11. Getting back to the case of the young girl and the rich man, we find that she has everything that she could possibly want, and yet she is a big disappointment to her husband. Why? Simply because it is not what you do for people that counts so much, it is what you are. This young girl did not respect the old man in the first place, but did not like him for what he did for her, but constantly kept seeing him just as an old man. No matter how much of the material things he showered upon her, it would not have gained her respect if he could not have gained her respect and had her look up to him as someone fine and good. Then all the gifts in the world would not have made this girl more appreciative. Now we cite a case that fits almost every person living, that of loaning money to friends. A good friend comes to you in need of a small amount of money. You lend it to him and he pays it back. Soon he comes to you again, needing a larger sum. You give it to him, but this time it takes a little longer time to pay it back. A third time he comes to you with the request for quite a large loan, and being generous and wishing to do him a favor, you grant him the loan. This time it is only with constant effort after a long time that you are able to collect it. Sometime later he comes to you asking for a loan, and recalling the trouble and difficulty you had in collecting the previous one, you hesitate. You're faced with the problem that if you refuse the loan, you may lose his friendship. And on the other hand, if you grant him the loan, you are not so sure that he will repay it. It isn't an easy problem to solve unless you know how to obtain the answer. Remember, it isn't what you do for people that counts so much as it is how much respect they have for you or what you are. If this friend of yours respects you and looks up to you, even though you refuse him the loan, he will still look up to you. However, if he does not respect you and is not the kind of person who looks up to you, if he does not respect you, and he's not the kind of person who looks up to you, no matter how much money you lend him or how many times you grant